Using your third eye, your first eye, your spiritual eye, or however you want to put it, is a unique tool that we have in this realm in order to discover different things about ourselves. Now, when you think about the third eye and things that involve the third eye, a lot of people want to talk about seeing spirits, seeing entities, seeing energy. Now, that is a thing that will happen as your third eye, first eye, spiritual eye, however you want to put it, awakens, because you'll start to notice those different things because that's a part of the awakening process. When we talk about awakening and opening our third eye, that's what happens, but that is the initial stages. Then a lot of people don't go past the initial stage. The initial stage of just seeing what's going on and seeing through the different realms and seeing through the different energies and the entities and all of that, because it goes a lot deeper than that. When you truly start tapping into your spiritual eye or your first eye, your third eye, however you want to put it, when you truly start to embody that and truly understand what it is, you're looking through different realms. You're looking through things on an energetic level. And when you start to be able to look at things on an energetic level, you're able to see a lot more. And yeah, it's cool and interesting to look outside of yourself and see these different things that are happening, but you're missing out on so much that can be done for your self growth. A lot of times when we are going through different illnesses, if we used our spiritual eye to see what's going on inside, where is this illness coming from? What is that energy that is actually causing this illness? We can heal ourselves. When we talk about healing ourselves through different energies and vibrations, well, you have to be able to identify what is actually ailing you at that time. You have to be able to identify the energy that is actually coming from the place that is causing whatever is happening. And that is one way to use your spiritual eye. Your spiritual eye looks within. It looks within the realms that's within yourself. People talk about how you are a universe. You have so much inside of yourself that goes on and is involved in this world around us. But we don't ever take time to actually think about that, as in when you use your spiritual eye, why don't you look inside that universe? You're looking at the other universe that's outside of yourself. Let's look at the universe that's inside of ourselves. Let's look at the different realms that we create within ourselves. The different realms that people might call your chakras. They might call your energy points. They might call your spirit, your mind, your body. These are all different realms that is within us, that is a part of us, that has been molded through our experiences. It has been molded through the different planes and existences that we have traveled through, that have left the different energetic imprints, the different signatures that have been put on us and that we have put on ourselves. Once you start to use your third eye, your spiritual eye in that manner, you're going to start to see so many more things, because now you're able to unlock. When people talk about the key and having the keys to those different doors and those opportunities that come about, you have to be able to perceive it first. You have to be able to see, like truly see it, and then perceive it in a way to where you're able to utilize it. That's a big deal with using your third eye, spiritual eye, first eye, however you want to put it. Because once you start to actually embody these techniques and practices, you're going to be able to do so much more. People talk about their shadow work. When you're going in and you're seeing what's going on inside of yourself and things that you need to work on, well, there's a whole realm inside of yourself that deals with that. That's why we talk about shadow work, because it's in the darkness. It's things that you can't see. But if you use your spiritual eye, you can actually go into that realm within yourself and actually look and see what's going on, interact with it, experience it, in order to get a more comprehensive experience on what you are going through. These things are not that common practice. These are things that people aren't really talking about, because once you start getting into it, a lot of people feel that maybe this information is a little too deep for some people, or maybe it's too much because we're trying to cater to a lot of people who are just now starting to get into this information. But there's no reason to hold on to this. once you start to experience these things and you talk with somebody else who is also experiencing these things, you're going to be able to get a more comprehensive understanding of using your spiritual eye. Your spiritual eye can be used for so much more. Like I said, it can be used to look within the different realms that's going on. People talk about how your eyes are a window to the soul. Well, when you use that spiritual eye, that's a window, a portal, or whatever you want to say, to so much more. It's actually able to go within different things. When you talk about astral projection, or even just visualizing and daydreaming and dreaming in general, you're using your spiritual eye to experience that. Now, whether or not you're using it consciously, that's one thing to figure out and look at, because a lot of times we're using it unconsciously. When we talk about lucid dreaming and things like that, we're unconsciously being conscious of what's going on, if you get what I'm saying, because you're unconscious of the fact that you're using that spiritual eye in a certain way in order to actually experience that realm. That spiritual eye is relating that stuff in real time so that you can actually experience it at that point in time, because it is a portal. You can, when people talk about astral projection, spiritual projection, and things like that, and they talk about it's just another realm of the mind. Look where your spiritual eye is located on your body. It's right in front of your mind. It's a portal to bring you to these different realms. It's a portal that you can look through in order to see different things. That's what your spiritual eye is. So if you're able to actually understand that, you can tap into so much more. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because once you start to experience these things and do these things with your spiritual eye, you're going to need to make sure that you're aware of what you're doing, because this is a higher level of awareness. And when I say higher, I just mean it is vibrating on a faster level. When people talk about a higher frequency, that's all I'm talking about. This is vibrating on a faster level. So you have to be sharper. You have to be quicker about picking up on things. That's when you talk about working on your awareness, working on your perception. A lot of people talk about being aware in the present moment, because there is so much going on in the present moment right here and now that it can be overwhelming. But in order to traverse these different realities and these different planes of existence, you have to be able to notice all these things that are going on and still maneuver through it. You still have to be able to maneuver through it. We go through so much in this life where we are unaware of. But if we are able to awaken that spiritual eye and actually go through those initial stages of seeing energy, seeing these different things that are going on, and then we learn to accept it and truly accept it. I mean, accept it on the inside, when you enter, and understand exactly what's going on, because there's a lot of times where we just understand it and we're like, okay, now we got a little bit of understanding and we're going to go do this. But with any experience that you have, the more knowledge you have on it, when you go to experience it, you're able to do more things. The first time you rode a bike, you fell down a few times. And then from those experiences, from the knowledge of riding the bike, you start to get a better experience of riding the bike. This applies with your spiritual eye. That's why when we talk about those initial stages and actually using your spiritual eye, we talk about seeing energy. We talk about seeing these entities, these spirits, and all these things around us. We talk about looking at the different planes of existence that is actually going on around us in our immediate environment. Because again, we're in that present moment and we're only really looking at the immediate surroundings. And some people are like, well, I use my spiritual eye to see things that's happening across the country or in other parts of this universe. That's still things that are happening in our immediate surroundings. When you truly start tapping into your spiritual eye, you're going to realize that everything has multiple layers. Everything has multiple realms and multiple existences that are going on. And in order to truly tap into that stuff, you have to be able to use it like a muscle. You have to be able to work it out to where you can see these different things and not just see them, embody it, travel to it and do different things, just like when you're lucid dreaming, just like when you go out here, you astral project. You have to be able to have a more full comprehensive understanding of what your spiritual eye is and what is your spiritual eye doing. These are things that can get a little overwhelming at times. So yes, when you're starting off and you're trying to awaken and open that third eye, decalcify that pineal gland, or however you want to put it, you know, looking at the different things and then truly starting to enter and understand them, that's when you are working out that muscle. You're working out that eye. You're starting to train that eye. Just like when people talk about, the visual acuity and sports players and athletes, when they talk about having those reflexes and being able to see things that normal people can't see because they've trained themselves in order to see things that are moving faster, see things that are moving a little bit more subtly. That's the same thing you have to do with your spiritual eye. You have to exercise it. You have to be able to do these different things and these different exercises in order to reach not a higher realm, but reach a more comprehensive understanding of it. Reach a level to where you are able to do more with it, because there is so much more. I made a video about how when we are in this reality, it's like an egg. We're in this egg and we're like the embryo, and we're looking at all the fluid, and then we start to see through the fluid, and then we get to the shell. And a lot of people stop there and they're like, okay, well, I know everything that's inside this egg. But then when you crack out of that egg and you realize that there's so much more outside of this, and you start to experience it, and then you start to go on in the same way, and then you realize, hey, there's another shell, and then you break out of that. It's the same thing with your spiritual eye. There's so many different levels to this. Just like your iris has different levels and different parts of it that see different spectrums, that actually perceive different energy. These are all the different levels of your spiritual eye. Now, I can get into this even more deeply, but I'm pretty sure I don't have time for that right now on this video. But if you guys ever want to talk about this, you can always hit me up, write in the comments section, or message me on Instagram, or look me up on my website. We can have a deeper conversation if you guys get a session. And I might put something on there to where I want to start a community where, not even a community, I don't want to use that word, a space where people can actually discuss these things. And I want to do this for free. I want there to be a space where people could discuss these things without fear of being judged, without any bias of what's going on. I'm probably going to work with my friend Medicine and my friend Flora Star, and we're going to get some of these things going. But that's for the future here. Just little things that we got planned. But don't be afraid to talk about these things, because you might have been having these thoughts. You might have been having these ideas, and you were afraid to talk to somebody about it. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. Don't be afraid to experience these different things that are going on and actually learn about them. See if anybody else is having these experiences. That's the beauty of having so many different beings on this realm, on this plane of existence, in this simulation, if you want to put it, this environment, the system that we are in, is that we can compare. We can look at their experiences, and then we can have the experiences, so that we can all learn and grow and get multiple different perspectives on the same subject. So don't be afraid to ask about these things. If you're having something that's going on and you're not sure about it, and you feel that, oh, maybe I'm just crazy, or maybe I'm not looking at it at the right way, there is no wrong way to look at these things. Everybody has their own perspective. So you might have found a different level that other people haven't experienced yet. You might have found a different way to use things that other people haven't used it, and other people might have, so that you could compare. You could talk with somebody. There's somebody else out there that has had these same experiences as you. So don't be afraid to talk to somebody about it. Don't be afraid to put that idea, that knowledge out there. But when it all comes down to your spiritual eye, you have to go through the steps. Opening or awakening your spiritual eye, decalcifying your pineal gland, seeing the basic energies, auras, entities, spirits, different things that are going on, going into your dream work, astral projection, and different things like that, and actually looking at things on an energetic level, because everything is energy. So once you start to look at things on a basic energetic level, then you can then move to see things on a more complex level, which is really simple as well, depending on your perspective of it. Because just like we're growing up, we start to learn something and we think, oh man, that's so complex. Like when you were a kid and you were learning basic math, you're like 1 + 1 = 2, or 2 × 5 is 10, is 6 × 7, and all these different things. And you were like, oh man, this is getting so complicated right now. And I'm not sure how to do it. But then as an adult, you're like, what are you talking about? That's simple. But then there's things as an adult, you're like, that's so complicated. And then later on, you have different experiences. You're like, hey, that was simple. It's the same thing with your spiritual eye. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Keep trying these different things out and experimenting, because you can only limit yourself by your viewpoint, your perspective. There is no limits on what you can do. There's no limits on how you can do things and what you can perceive and what you can actually do in this system, for the most part. So take some time to truly experiment with these things, learn it, embody it, and truly go within about it. Start to learn where these things are coming from. How is it interacting with the world around it? How can you interact more with it? What is it teaching you? What are you learning from it? Because these are the experiences that are going to make it so much more, I don't want to say enjoyable, but it's going to make it so much more enriching, so much more fulfilling. So take some time and go over the different things that I talked about in this video, because there's a lot, and see where you compare to it. I'm not saying you take my word as fact. Go out there, do your own inner search, outer search, research, experiment, do all those things and experience everything that you can in order to build your perspective, to build your knowledge on it. And hey, you just might find something out.